Hello and welcome to this edition of Mugscast.
Today we're continuing into MCU Phase 2 with Guardians of the Galaxy. Cheers. Guardians.
So Guardians. So overall, I think this it still holds up very well. It's still pretty good.
Yeah, holds up very nicely.
It's directed by James Gunn, who is amazing.
Fantastic.
He's great.
A genius.
He does really good his movies. So like right off the bat, we have the intro, which is Peter Quill.
Oh yeah, I mean this is like, yes, it's the.
It's important to his character. It's not a huge deal, but it's important to his character as to why. It's funny because he's like this smart ass character, but in reality, he has like the biggest mommy issues ever.
Yeah, it starts out with him listening to "I'm Not in Love." I kind of made a point to write down the songs as they came in.
Yeah.
This movie is like the reason that I like have songs, like older songs that I listen to. Like these
funny.
two
I
movies.
I definitely wrote it about halfway through, but I wrote the soundtrack to this movie is
the two soundtracks to these movies are like.
Yes. I have both. This one and Guardians.
Like almost no misses on any of the soundtracks. Like any song is amazing.
I have both of these soundtracks saved on my playlist separately.
Yeah,
I love the soundtracks.
I have the vinyl like record for the first one. I would like to get the second one, but one day.
Yeah, it'll probably be like super expensive.
It's not that. It's just like I don't really have a opportunity to play records all that often.
Nobody does until you're retired.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's listening to "I'm Not in Love," which is very apt for his situation right before he goes in and sees her, and they, I guess it's his grandpa, right?
I'm assuming it's his grandparents.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's drags him in there.
Yeah.
And then she dies.
Yes.
It
traumatizes the shit out of him because he's like low key kind of cold towards her.
Yeah.
But it's like
it's not that he's cold towards her. It's just he can't handle it.
Yeah, he can't handle it, and it sucks because like he does not. Yes.
Yeah.
He does not get a proper goodbye with his mother, which I mean.
It's pretty horrible, actually. Yeah,
it's
like
really
sad.
Yeah.
The first few times that I saw this movie, I was like, something about it was off to me. But this time when I watched it, I was like, oh, God, that's so horrible.
Yeah.
But then his grandpa drags him in there, and then his grandpa's like, get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out! Stay the fuck out of here! And it's like, Jesus, like, you wanted him in there. I mean, I know he's freaking out, but just like push him back a little bit. Don't be like, you fucking stay out here! You're ruining it! You're ruining her death!
Yeah.
Or whatever he's doing.
You're ruining her memory!
God damn it!
But yeah, so it's funny because like, and then he runs out, and you see him get captured or grabbed or snatched, whatever you want to call it, by Yondu. Which at the time you don't know it's Yondu.
No. By the way, that shot though of the ship in the when the lights come on, you see the ship is like so, just like visually appealing. Like it feels like something straight out of a comic book panel almost.
Yeah, no, for sure, it's very well done. And then we have him on what planet is it?
Yeah, I
can't remember the planet, but he's on that one planet.
I think it starts with an M.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I wrote the planet name down somewhere.
Morag.
Yeah, there you go. And he's on there, and it's funny because at first they make it seem like it's going to be like this super serious moment, because I wrote it's very music. Ominous. Yeah, it's very ominous, and it's like
almost reminds me of Star Wars music in a weird way. Like
and it's so they make you think it's about to get, and then he puts on his music and he starts doing the dance, and
I love the best thing ever.
Yeah, I love that, made. Especially.
I don't think anything tops it. Just the moment when it comes in and the logo appears as he starts dancing. It's just amazing.
The thing is, right? It's amazing. It's still one of those moments that sits in my head to this day that I can remember vividly, right? Mm-hmm. But it's so simple.
It's amazing.
Like literally, but the title card is literally such
a boom, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, there's no fade
it's just something about the way it's shot. Exactly. The way it's shot and the way it's done is just so amazing. It's just so good. And that's just James Gunn and his team. Like,
yeah, and
that's
of course,
how it is.
I mean, that song is fucking amazing. That might be one of the I think that is the best song of the soundtrack. It is one of the best songs of the soundtrack. It's one of. There's another song that I really, really like. Yeah. But
so
then he gets through all of it. That scene is just fucking good.
Yeah, and then he gets to the Infinity Stone.
Yeah, which he doesn't know yet that it is.
Yeah, and I don't think any of them really know that it's an Infinity Stone right away. Maybe like Gamora and them, but I don't think anybody else. But
no, because she was there when they went to the Collector, and she was also like, "Oh."
Yeah, you're right. She was. But then he's like, he asked him, "Who are you?" He's like, I'm Star-Lord. And he's
Yeah.
like, who? He's like, a
Who?
Star-Lord, man. That's like one of my favorite interactions back and forth.
I like that, but I've always had an issue with the way he says "who" for some reason. It's so awkward to me for some reason. Like,
to be fair, his character is awkward.
Who?
Yeah,
it's like
his
such a
character
weird
is
way that
awkward.
he says it for some reason.
Yeah,
Like,
it's exaggerated.
It
It's
fits it, but
exaggerated.
it's still weird to me. Like I'm always like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And then he actually, what is he? I can't remember what he does, but he shits on the two guys and then like drops down, dodges the blast.
I put even though he's like a very jokey, smart ass character, which is the go to. That's like instantly likable. He's also quick thinking. Like he literally he drops down, he puts on his jets, blasts the hole behind him,
puts the mask
shoots
on,
out, dude,
out of there.
all in like the span of like 5 seconds, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's like you're like, okay, he is the Jack Sparrow of the Marvel universe, by the way. Where it's like you have to stop and think, was that on purpose or was that luck? Because he does have moments where it's like that shouldn't have worked out that well. And it's funny because like it doesn't matter. We're not going to talk about that much of Pirates of the Caribbean. But in Pirates of the Caribbean, there's a scene where they say, "Do you think he comes up with these plans, or do you think it's just all luck?" And there's a scene in one of the Pirates movies where he actually does a bunch of stuff because he knows he's about to be in like a really bad situation, and he ends up using all of it. And you come to find out like it's all to plan, and it just works out really well for him. But it just seems like
I don't remember. I'm assuming it must be for one like the second or
no.
third.
It's the newer one. It's the newer one.
Oh, I haven't even seen that.
But
one
I was gonna say
then.
that's okay. It's not that great, but it's just but that's what I literally I kept thinking like
We'll save it for Pirates of the Caribbean in review when we do that.
no, we're not reviewing that. But yeah, like I honestly was thinking that I was like because I was watching, I was like that typically would not work out, but for some reason for Star-Lord it's just like, hey,
Well, that's how it is.
It's Star-Lord.
That's how it is for everybody in these movies, though. It's like any
true.
normal person. Like if I was there and I went to like make these moves, I would be dead. Like when we talked about Winter Soldier and him like driving towards the gunship and the bullets all missing him. If that was either of us, we would have been domed.
I don't even think I would have made it on the bike. Honestly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That shit would have just collapsed underneath me, like just for no reason.
That's fucking funny.
So
I actually wrote the Milano is easily one of my like favorite like ships.
Oh, it's so yeah. I wrote later that all the ships in this movie and subsequent movies are just such fantastic designs.
They are. So you want to hear something funny? Actually, this is a complete side note. We were at Target, Rachel and I, a couple days ago. Actually, when I got the piercings.
Right.
And I almost spent $150. Okay.
Buying
on Legos.
What is it, Lego Milano?
It was the Milano.
Yeah.
You want to know what stopped me from buying it? And fuck you, Lego, for this. If they had the whole Guardians cast, instantly would have bought it. But instead, they were like, hey, you know who we're going to put in this? We're going to put Star-Lord. We're going to put Groot, Rocket, Thor, and it's Atari. What the fuck, bro? Why, bro?
Like it was have to have something to fight with.
I don't give a shit.
I'm not a child.
I was this close to buying it, and then when I saw it, it literally was Thor, which makes sense because he did go with them.
Yeah.
And then a Chitauri, I was like, never mind, and I put it back instantly. I was like, I'm not buying a separate set to get Gamora and Drax.
I don't know how the minifigures are never a deal breaker for me. I'm always focused on what's in it, like the actual set. Like
the set's amazing. It's the Milano, but it's huge.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would have loved, bro. I would have loved to have I would have displayed it with all 5 of them in it.
Yeah, but still, you could just display the shit.
Or 6 of them because it also comes with I can't remember her name right now, but
oh, Mantis.
Yeah, Mantis. Yeah. I can never remember her name, but yeah, it comes with Mantis, and I was like, damn. I was like, so close.
So close.
So
far.
Fuck them.
So he gets out and gets back to the ship and starts flying or whatever, and then you have that point where he gets out and the girl comes up. And he's like, oh, hey, and she says her name, whatever her name was. He's like, I'm going to be honest, I completely forgot you were here.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he says that, straight into Spirit in the Sky, which is also just amazing. Like, just as soon as he says that, it just kicks in, like, ding.
Yeah, that's actually when I wrote. That's when I wrote.
Yeah.
The soundtracks of the movie.
So fucking good, the way that transitions.
Yeah. And then we have our introduction of Ronan.
Yondu.
No. Yondu was before this. Because it's literally as he's like getting ready to go on a ship is when he talks to Yondu, is it not? No, she answers.
It's right. Yeah,
she answers.
After they fly off.
Yeah, you're right. She answers, and then it's funny because like even though at the time they're selling him as a villain, I actually liked him at the time. I was like,
yeah, that's my only problem though. Is like when I was watching this movie, I was like, oh, I didn't realize he was such like a shitty person in this movie. Like he genuinely is like he's about to blow his brains out, and then the next movie they're like father and son.
But that's the thing. He was never going to. Because he gets called out for it. They're like, you were never going to kill him or anything. Like, even with the ending when he opens the
He smiles. Yeah,
he smiles.
That was like, okay.
Because he knew he's like this little shit. Like I taught him well. Like he that's it's like he says in the second movie, like, oh, he may have been your father, but I'm your pappy boy. Or whatever yeah. But yeah, like no. I like Yondu. I even liked him as a villain. Like if as a villain, had they had him as a villain, I would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I honestly never thought he was in like pure danger when Yondu was. I actually even then I remember thinking like, nah, like he wouldn't do anything. He would have killed him.
I don't know. I feel like he was seconds away from pulling that trigger.
He hit him, but like you can tell like
he was about to blow his brains out. I swear he was.
Nah, I don't know. It just didn't feel like he ever was. Even originally when I watched it, I remember thinking like, nah, he's not gonna do that. Obviously, like he's raised him since he was young. Like he's not gonna do that.
Yeah. Maybe.
But,
good God.
But now that it's funny. It doesn't matter. Anyways.
Let's see. So yeah. So I mean, he goes. He talks to him or whatever. Yeah. She answers the call. Yeah. You said we get Ronan.
Ronan's next. Yeah. Yeah. Which let me tell you right now, right? I feel like the way they did this part with the hammer that he drops on that guy, I feel like it was way worse than actually showing it. Like, because it leads you to your imagination. Like,
yeah. If they had shown it.
Obviously, if they had shown it, it would have been bad. But I'm saying them doing it that way, you're like, I wonder what that looked like. And it's completely left to your imagination because he fucking crushed that dude.
It's true, but look, if anybody.
Dude, I imagine it mangled.
If anybody out there has ever seen the movie Midsommar, you know what I'm talking about. And you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that, I promise you. There's literally a scene in that movie where they smash somebody's skull with a hammer, like straight up. And it is lingered on. It is horrifying. You don't want to see it. You'd rather have it in your imagination, I promise.
To be fair, I've seen some really fucked up shit because I used to go on like that really fucked up side of Reddit where I saw some really fucked up shit.
I'm just saying, like, that particular, like, smashing with the hammer, like, every time he does it in this movie, I pictured the other movie, and I'm like... I know what they would be like.
But anyways, it's really brutal. Like
it is very brutal.
It's super brutal, and you see like just the blood.
And you don't need to see it. Just seeing the blood dripping down is enough.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh shit.
And they do also cut it like just a fucking split second before it hits him. So it's like just
literally you see it start to go down, and then it cuts. So I actually slowed it down that part.
It's enough. Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, he's introduced, and then they're on. I don't even know. Do they say what the planet? Oh, it's whatever the Nova planet is, right? The Nova planet?
Fuck. I can't remember now. Killing me.
I don't know, but they're there. He's going to sell the cube, or not the cube, fucking cube.
The cube.
He's going to sell the sphere, the orb.
Oh, Xander, by the way.
Xander. Yeah.
Xander. But it's funny because he's supposed to go sell the orb, but it starts with Rocket's introduction, and it's him literally just commenting on people, and we got Stan Lee. Yeah, we got Stan Lee.
He's like, "Yo, what are you doing, old man?" Yeah. He's like trying to like make out with some like young hot alien.
Listen, I'm probably gonna make people mad with this, right? But I completely forgot Rocket was voiced by Bradley Cooper. Mm-hmm. He is fucking amazing, dude. Like. It's so good, right? Because like, okay, don't make fun of me, right? But in my head, like, I'm just like, oh, I'm watching like this raccoon, and it's like I completely forget that obviously somebody has to voice him, right?
Yeah.
Typically, but it's just that good. Like that's how good of a job they've done, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even stop to think like, oh, who's voicing him, like at all, right? And then I sat here and I'm like, who does voice Rocket? Because I've played games where Rocket's been in it, and he's usually done by Nolan North. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, for sure.
But so I was like, who does? And I was like, oh, that's fucking right. I'm like, he does such a good job in this movie. Like, amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, in everything he's
like,
in,
it's no Vin Diesel. You know what I'm saying?
But, it's no Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel's the greatest voice actor.
To say I'm Groot. Yeah.
Jesus, but.
Oh boy.
But yeah, like no, I forgot how amazing he was as Rocket though. I really did. Like, amazing.
Yeah, top tier.
Yeah.
So he goes to sell the orb, and he's like, this guy Ronan wants that, and the guy's like. Get out of my shop.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm not going to have any fucking part of that.
Yeah.
And then he gets shoved out, and then he stumbles out and sees Gamora, and he's immediately like...
Yeah,
just like...
He turns on swab mode. Like, he literally is all like... He goes from heartbroken to be like, hey...
That guy just backed out of a deal on me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't blame him. But
by the way,
this... eating fruit, I guess.
Yeah. But this scene of them in, like, I want to call it a courtyard, I guess, whatever. It's like the civilian walking area.
Yeah, it's like a fountain in the middle.
This scene is where you get to, like, everybody got Peter's intro, but, like, this scene is where you really get to see, besides Drax, like, what each character's about. Because there's a moment between Groot and Rocket where he's like, I think he's like, who cares, you idiot? Like, like the way they talk to each other, you get to see what Groot.
Yeah, you get everything.
And then you get to see what
Groot's
Gamora
drinking
is
the fountain
like.
water, and he's like, "Stop doing that."
Yeah. So here's where you get to see their personalities, like being like, okay, now we know what we're in for with each character, except for obviously Drax, who is probably one of the better characters in this, surprisingly.
No, I'm being honest with you. I forget that Drax exists.
Really?
Yeah, I forget that.
Nah,
and I'm not even just
can't.
talking about the invisible joke.
He's invisible throughout the movie.
I forget that he exists because he just doesn't. He doesn't really do anything much, in any of these movies.
But when he has those jokey moments of like laughter where he's taking shit too literal, it's funny as fuck.
Not all of them land for me.
Not all.
Some of them land, but some of them like the over my head. I won't catch. No, I'm saying I do like that one.
That's gonna say that one's okay. The one that I really like is where he's like, man that has slept with whatever the creature is. Yeah, and he's like, it's one time, man.
Yeah.
And they're like,
well, but the reason that's funny was because he denied it before, and then he was like, it was just one time. He's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna admit it. Yeah, as he's climbing up.
But
anyways, I wrote it later. We'll get to it. There's another line that does kill me from him, but at the same time, though, I feel like there could have been more to him.
No, there could have.
I don't think he does enough.
He could have had a lot more character.
Every time they get to it, and they get to this scene, I'm like, I feel like somebody's missing, but I just don't really care. Like my mind's
I'm gonna be honest with you on there.
True,
actually, it's true because when I was watching this, I was like, oh man, here we have all the Guardians.
Exactly.
And I was like,
there's everybody.
And I was like, oh wait, no, there's Drax.
Everybody with like genuine character building and like serious like they do shit. You know?
Yeah.
Like he's there. He's like the muscle. I guess he's like the Hulk essentially of the group. So like you don't really get a lot of super character building moments for him when he is in that mode.
And then we have them all fight each other.
They're all fighting, and I love when they bag him, like Rocket and Groot bag Peter, and then he I think it's Gamora or somebody goes. I think it's Gamora goes to open the bag, and he just like pops out with a gun.
Yeah,
he does that weird like little pop out move, and I was like, it just was funny to me the way he popped out.
And then we have our arm,
but also it shows how like again how prepared he is and how he thinks on his feet. Like he's ready for them to open the bag.
He is Nathan Drake.
Yeah,
he is Nathan Drake.
Yeah, he could have been.
Could have been.
Could have been. I don't know if he would have made a good Nathan.
No, he would have made a good Nathan Drake. When I'm saying it reminds me of the character.
He makes a good that type of like Indiana Jones like suave kind of type of character.
But then we have the arm Easter egg where she cuts Groot's
both of Groot's arms off. Yeah.
And then we have where they're getting arrested. He's like, "It'll go back, you idiot!" Like, dude, Rocket's just like, "Get the fuck over it." Like,
and then I love when he shoots him with the taser gun.
Yes.
And then he goes, "Writhe, little man." He's like he's so happy about it.
Let's talk about fucking Gamora's godly aim, dude, with that knife.
Yeah.
She threw it from like a nice distance.
What is it? The deadliest warrior in the galaxy?
She fucking hits it dead on, just on the hand. Like, enough for him to drop it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it did her any good, but
I mean, I'm surprised she could have just thrown it in the back of his neck and been done with it. But I think she was already like kind of partially becoming good at that point.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think she was really evil.
She was already backstabbing him. Yeah, she revealed she was like double crossing him, but she definitely was evil at some point. She killed a bunch of people.
I said the same thing. She definitely was not. Yeah.
Let's see. And then they get captured by Nova Corps, and I just want to say like, isn't it weird, like kind of surprising that we haven't gotten Nova yet?
Yeah,
in the MCU, like I feel like that's weird.
It's very weird. I have a feeling it's coming in Guardians 3 or at the end of Guardians 3.
He would make he's gonna be like when he does show up. I assume he will. He's gonna be such a good fit for this universe. I feel like. And I'm honestly excited to see him. I've always liked Nova as a character.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited to see him too. I think he's gonna be awesome. But I'm also excited to see because we just to skip over to Guardians 2 real quick. We got that tease for Adam Warlock or whatever the hell his name is. And
I feel like that was more just like James Gunn like teasing these lesser known characters, but like it's never.
No, we're supposed to get it in Guardians 3 though. Supposed to, yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess
we'll see.
I mean, he teased, Howard the Duck. We haven't gotten Howard the Duck yet.
Nah, we're not gonna get a Howard the Duck movie. I don't think so. I would love to see or a show.
I would love to. I don't know why I have such a love for Howard the Duck, but
because it's such a weird, obscure character.
I guess. When I was younger, for some goddamn reason, I used to read the comics. Like, I used to get the Howard the Duck comics from the library and read them, and I enjoyed the hell out of them for whatever reason. Even though they're, like, really adult, weird comics. So I just have, like, some weird, like, nostalgic attachment to him. Yeah. So I want to see him. And I think it would be good as well. They got, like, Seth Green.
He was there at Endgame doing nothing.
Yeah, true. Well, no, he must have done. I mean, he was charging in. Yeah, he did something. He probably killed one person with a bad joke.
Yeah, probably.
Let's see. So they're captured. We get the classic a-hole scene and all that, and I'm sorry, I didn't know this machine worked like that. With
Yeah,
the, with
yeah,
the
with the
Motherfucker. That's a
Motherfucker.
classic.
Yeah, it's really
That's
good.
so good. I'm so sorry. He's like, he sounds so genuine. He's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know it worked like that.
Yeah, and they talk about everybody. It's so funny, right? Because looking back, you know, I have that little sizzle reel that I made that we're gonna put on TikTok today of the Guardians. But Drax is in that lineup in the trailer. I even have him in that little clip that I made from the TikTok.
Why is that weird?
Because there's no lineup for him in the movie.
Oh, is he not in the movie?
No,
oh.
he's not. He's not part of the lineup when we're talking about him. He's not in that lineup at all.
Well, I guess they didn't
because they never arrested him. We don't see him when he gets arrested.
In the trailer, he's just like there though. They don't have like a specific thing they say about him.
Yeah, they do.
They?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it like a
Drax.
joke though?
Yeah, no, like they say something about him. Yeah, and they even have like him showcased and him being like. That's what I mean. Like the trailers don't always are always what they say.
They just fucking. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like Drax is just not there. Basically, just forgotten essentially.
But yeah. Anyways, and then you know it's funny because I actually wrote Rocket doesn't even know he's a raccoon.
Yeah.
Before this, he has no idea.
Yeah, because who
he's
knows
like, what's a raccoon?
Who knows where he's from? Raccoons are an Earth thing. You know what I'm saying?
But,
like, that's a one planet thing. Will you assume?
You assume, yeah.
So yeah, not surprising that he wouldn't know what a raccoon is.
Yeah. And then you see the significance to Peter with his Walkman.
Yeah. He's like,
He
hey,
puts it on and he like gets all up in his shit.
Put that down,
Yeah.
and then he just fully accepts being tased. Like there's nothing you can do about it. But
Chris Pratt, by the way, amazing condition. Like, dude, peak.
Yeah, he's a great looking man.
He is like, and it's so funny because like you know we like you watch Parks and Rec, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you know you see him in Parks and Rec, he's chunkier there, and he had to get fit for this movie.
This was
like,
his first big action role movie.
His fucking like he looks good. Like I remember when I watched that scene, I was like, oh shit! I was like, I forgot how ripped he got for this movie.
Yeah.
Which is funny. Apparently, I can't remember if there's an interview that they did, and he didn't like being ripped. He liked having some chub to him because he feels like it makes for better comedic.
Yeah.
I
feel that, but I mean, you know, he stays pretty fit now. I think.
Yeah, he does.
And,
yeah,
I mean, good for him
because he's doing action movies.
Yeah, but I mean, good for him though. It's like it's healthy. I mean, unless he's like you know, knocking back steroids, which I hope not. But you know, I don't think so. I don't think he looks like he's in that level.
No, he's not on that level.
He looks like a natural level of condition. Yeah, which is good.
Then we have them walking into the jail, and I think somebody tries to like step up to Peter. And Rocket's like, you see this guy right here?
The fingers up the nose.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
Yes, it is. Especially when like they rip it out and clearly that dude's bleeding.
Yeah, he's fucked.
But he's
they
like,
don't show his face, but I'm pretty sure he just ripped his nose off.
I wrote that too. I wrote, did they rip his nose off?
I think so,
Question
They don't show it because of the sound. The sound is disgusting. Sitting there, yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, he's like, you know, he's ours, and if you want him, you gotta get through us or whatever. And I was just like, damn, he just cleaned his bitches like right off the bat.
That's what Rocket's been in like 1,000
damn
prisons.
Right. Like he just went with it. He said, okay.
Yeah, and Peter's like, I'm with them.
Yeah.
He just like steps over the guy's body as he's fucking writhing in pain.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, and then we have you know, everybody in the jail who's like yelling at Gamora, oh, we're gonna kill you, and you and Ronan and all this, because you know clearly they've caused a bunch of destruction.
We did kind of forget though. Hooked on a Feeling plays when they're walking.
Oh
for
yes,
the first
it
time.
does. It does.
Yeah.
Yes,
just when
that's
they
true.
throw that in there because that song
it's
is also
probably
amazing.
I was gonna say the songs. Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
That was the original trailer song. That
Yes,
was what got me excited for the movie. That was the only reason that I was interested in seeing the movie because I didn't know what the Guardians of the Galaxy were at the time, and I saw the trailer, and at the end, it cuts to the logo and it goes and I was like, I don't even know why, but I want to see this movie now. Just that.
It's just they hyped it up. They did a really good job playing the trailer around the music.
That song made me was like, I don't know why I want to see this movie now.
Yeah,
and then that's why I went to it.
But yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I remember the same thing. I knew who the Guardians were though because I've played like Marvel vs. Capcom and stuff like that, and some of the Guardians were in like specifically like Rocket and shit like that.
I guess I vaguely knew that they existed, but I didn't know anything.
Yeah, I didn't know like
them. I knew the name
them,
Guardians of the Galaxy, but I didn't know them.
So, anyways, you know, and then you have all these people yelling at Gamora, and she's trying to play it off like she's fine, but clearly she's scared.
Get destroyed. Yeah,
she's fucking terrified.
Well, there's nothing she could do about it.
No, there's
she's amazing. She's
she's about to
fantastic
become
with
somebody's
swords
bitch
and stuff, but she's gonna get killed. Yeah.
So she's terrified.
So they go to sleep and wake up.
And by the way, I wrote, what the fuck's with the sleeping pile, dude?
That's what they have to do, I guess.
Yeah, it's
tiny
gross.
And by the way, it's weird because this is a Nova Corps prison, so like they're supposed to be these like super nice, like insane people, but they're just fucking. They don't give a shit what goes on in their prison.
Yeah, this is clearly the darker people of the Nova Corps.
It's like, geez. So they wake up, or she gets taken off, and Peter wakes up and sees it and goes after him. Yep. And then Rocket goes after him because he sees that. And they get there, and Drax shows up, and he's like, "You would dare to kill her." Yeah. And you think when you first see it, you're like, "Oh, who's this fucking guy?" You know. Yeah. And then Peter comes in, and he's like, "No," and explains like why he shouldn't kill him, and he's like, "And then you kill him or whatever." Yeah. He's like, "Then you take out Ronan." And he's like, "Why would I put my finger to his throat?"
Yeah.
And he's like, no,
it's an expression. He's like, it's an expression, right? He's like, you know the expression. The guy's like,
you know this, right? The guy's like, everybody knows that.
The guy's all snippy. He's like, yeah. And then Drax looks at him. He's like, no. It's so good, dude. It's so good. I love that part, though. That shit actually still makes me laugh.
That's one of the better jokes, yeah, for sure. And then he convinces him not to kill her. And then Drax walks off, and he's like, I'm taking your knife.
And the guy's like,
that's my favorite knife.
That guy, whoever that guy is, dude,
I love him.
Props, like amazing.
That's another like really James Gunn joke. That was my favorite knife.
Yeah, it's so good.
That's another great joke.
Then we have our first
Thanos,
real actual look at Thanos.
But it's still not the look. It's still not the Josh Brolin look. But it is Josh Brolin. But it's not his look.
But it's not his original look. But it looks better than I remembered.
Yeah, because when I first saw it doesn't match up.
It doesn't. You're right.
They never have really looked.
They went for comic. I don't know if you know this. It looks like they tried to go for a more comic book look because he's got like that yellow like.
He's got the suit and and it's much more. His face is much more shaped to the comics.
It does not fit compared to his actual Thanos that we have towards the end.
But I think it's because towards the end they made it much more based off of his actual face, which is what they always end up doing to make it more natural.
Which is good. It's good.
It's a good thing.
That way. But it's Josh Brolin. But anyways, it's cool because. If you're a comic book fan, like Thanos is like, and they still managed to like, even if you're not like a comic book fan, this character's obviously.
I will say though, it is a little weird now looking back, like how hyped up he was being, and then him just having kind of like him just show up in Guardians. Up until this point, he was just like one post credit scene, I think,
and it was terrible.
And now he's just in Guardians, and he's just like kind of there, and he's not even like. He's not even like that foreboding. He gets kind of shit on. You know what I mean? Like Ronan takes the stone, kills his lackey.
Yeah, but I feel like that actually makes him more badass because he's not quick to be like, "How dare you?" He's just like, "Okay,
we'll see.
I'll let you do what you're doing because I already know where we're going with this." Like,
exactly.
I actually think that makes him more badass because he's just like, "Cool, do whatever you want to do."
Like he's just kind of there. Like he's not even in the background anymore. He's just like there he is. He's here now.
And it's just like, and that's what I mean. Like it's his first appearance. You're like, "Oh, cool." Like, and it makes me wonder, when are we gonna see that in this phase?
Whoever the next person is.
When are we gonna see this? Where they're just gonna be in somebody's movie randomly?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I mean,
can't wait.
It could have already happened with Kang. That could have been his thing. Like he's just there. You know what I mean? Like now he exists.
It could be. You're right. I don't know. We'll see.
But we'll just only time will tell. We have no fuking clue what's going on yet. You never do until you get like at least like 4 or 5 movies in, and they really start to paint the picture for you. So let's see. Yeah. So
then you have Rocket's plan.
Yeah. Well, right during that, he's like, what does he say? He's like they. Fucking hell, I can't remember what he says or something. He's like, they find you attractive. He's talking to Gamora. They find you attractive.
Oh, yeah, I've heard.
I've heard they find you attractive. And she's like, this is ridiculous. He's like, there's no way. She's like, there's no way this is going to work. So I'm talking about the plan. He's like, no. I really heard they find you attractive.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. He's like, yeah. And then it's funny because he's talking about his plan. He's like, we need to make sure we get those batteries last, and Groot's like, "Hey, say less."
He's already in the middle
yanks
of it.
that shit.
As soon as he hears battery, he's like,
he just gets that shit like nothing. And then they're like, "Well, okay, here we go."
Or we can just improvise.
And then we talk about how much of a team player Styler is because he's like, "I'll get that guy's leg." Bro, he's just like
he's committed. Goes, he's really into it. I'm honestly respect him for how how he goes straight there. He's talking to him, and it just cuts to him in the middle of the fight. It just cuts to him. He's like, "You need my what?"
Yeah, exactly. I love the way they did that because it's perfection.
It's like pure chaos, and then just complete silence. He's like, "You need my what?"
Yeah, it's perfection. And then, like Rocket's plan obviously doesn't go off with a hitch. I mean, they end up having to fight more than I think they anticipated having to fight.
Yeah, well, because they got a battery.
But it makes for such an entertaining moment.
Yeah,
like
when he gets the gun.
And they have that moment, and it's funny because you don't even see who they're shooting. They just have that nice close up on their faces of them yelling.
Just the spinning shot.
But it's so good.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so good. You also get to see Starla doesn't really do a lot of fighting, but Gamora, like a lot of people were going for her. a lot of
Star-Lord,
people.
I think honestly Star-Lord gets a badass moment when he beats the shit out of the guy with the leg.
With the leg, yeah.
The way he just kind of like feints him and hits it with it.
Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of badass.
That was good. It was
a great use of the leg.
Yeah.
Best use that they got out of the leg, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get in, and honestly, it's a really cool idea to use the drones to power it. It's almost like a fucking like rocket ship. It's a very smart plan.
Honestly. Yeah, and he gets his props for it, by the way, because they
that was actually a really good plan.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, you have a couple moments in the ship that are pretty funny because he gives him the leg. He's like, "Oh, you actually got that?" He's like, I didn't need that. He's like, are you serious?
Yeah, I traded him. Joking, but
he's like, I traded him stuff for it.
He's I transferred him 30,000 units, which I'm sure is hella money.
Yeah. And he's like, nah, I just wanted to see if you do it or some shit like that, dude. Amazing. And then you have there's a couple little Drax jokes in there, and they're like, his people take everything literal, like you can't, and that's how you get to know what Drax is. But yeah, like it's funny beyond his jokes and like a couple moments. He really, now that I'm thinking about it, he really doesn't do much. You're right. Yeah, he does not get much at all.
He only serves to...
If anything, he's got a stupid moment later that we'll get to.
Yeah, he only serves to be the catalyst for Ronan finding them on nowhere.
That's exactly what it is.
But
he did have character development, though. You can't deny that. Because he went from those this angry, like, I'm going to do everything my way to being like, okay, like, I'm part of a team.
Yeah, but it was a little, like, immediate. You know what I mean? Especially for how dumb he's supposed to be. He just calls him, gets shit on, he's like, my bad. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it would be that quick, though, because if you got somebody almost killed, like, literally Peter almost died.
Yeah, but I mean, for sure, but also they portray him to be, like, a super dumb guy. So, like, it's but maybe, good for him that he figures that out, that he's smart enough to at least turn back on that and be like, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
So, they take the ship, they get the ship, and, Peter goes back for the songs, and he's listening to the Pina Colada song.
Yeah.
And he, just fucking shits on that guy.
Yeah.
And I did want to point out, they never make a point of it, but he does have his, like, elemental blasters. But they just never make a point of it.
Deal about
it's just occasionally he'll be shooting, like, a fire thing or a lightning thing. And it's just kind of there, but they don't say, like, he's not like, these are my elemental blasters.
Yeah, no. Because honestly, it wouldn't. There's no way that would fit anywhere.
It doesn't matter.
I can't even see them making a big deal about that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, your guns are so weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it doesn't matter because they don't really do anything spectacular. It's just like he's either shooting somebody with a fireball or lightning. Either way, he's killing them.
Amazing though. Like, it's still
they're so dope. I love the design of those guns.
Yeah, I actually like a lot of the whole like just Guardians thing in general.
Yeah,
ships, sets. I like the sets. Everything about them is just really nice.
I think right after this we cut to Yondu talking to the guy that he went to sell it to originally, trying to find out what happened.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, I am not going to tell you anything. And he's like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, blah, 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 yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. He's like, I will have you, blah, 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 which I do love that scene. That's another good one. He's like, you can't keep blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Blah. He just like keeps interrupting him. It's great. And then they arrive at nowhere and go to the collectors.
Which, I don't know if you know, there's no way you don't know because they say it in the movie, but that's a Celestial's head. Which...
They don't even call it a celestial, though. They just call it a celestial being.
Yes.
So I don't know if that has any significance or not.
Well, we're about to get... You know what? Yeah, never mind. I'm sorry. Anyways, yeah.
So they go in there, and I noticed when they're in there, collectors, or Corinna is standing in front of a dark elf.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I actually wrote a few of these real quick.
And you know what, as well? Mm-hmm. I just want to say, we never even talked about it when we recorded Captain America. We totally forgot to say, we lost the audio and the footage for our Dark World talk.
Oh,
so
that's right.
We should real quick just say, it's a good movie. I think it's overhated. It's an average, pretty decent movie. Yeah. But it's not mind-blowing, and it's probably going to be lower on the list, but it still has a lot of cool elements.
It has good moments.
It's got a lot of cool ideas.
But it's also got a lot of mess-ups. Not mess-ups, but...
just a very average movie.
Yeah, it's definitely lower quality MCU movie, but not horrible. Not the lowest.
It's still completely watchable, for sure. So, yeah.
I probably won't go back and rewatch it.
I completely forgot about that. We were supposed to talk about that at the start of the last episode, and we just didn't think about it. But there it is. That's why that's not ever going to be a video, because we didn't want to go back over the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Moon Age Daydream. When does Moon Age Daydream play? Why do I have that written down? I can't remember.
That's when they're kissing, is it not? Or they're about to kiss?
No, that's Fooled Around and Fell in Love. which
Oh, yeah, you're
which
right,
I
you're
wrote
right,
after
sorry,
that.
no.
But Moon Age Daydream must play before that because I wrote it down before Fooled Around and Fell in Love.
Is it when they're
walking into the collectors? But it's not.
Or when the ship.
I think it's where they're flying into nowhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
it's when they're flying into nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Fooled Around and Fell in Love is when he's playing the music for her. And
but even before we get onto that, we'll get back into that. By the way, I love that moment a lot.
Yeah.
So I wrote, Peter never went back to Earth once he was captured.
No.
But
well, he has nothing to go back to.
Yes, but how does he know so
grandparents?
much? You know what I mean?
About what?
About Earth. Like, he makes a lot of, like, Earth, like, references.
Yeah, because he knew about it. But he would have seen, Kevin Bacon
he
and
would've seen
Footloose and all
Footloose.
that before he left. That's why that's when we get to Infinity War, he's like, is Kevin Bacon still the greatest actor ever or whatever?
No,
like, he doesn't know anything beyond when he left.
I know that. But I think there's another, like, the joke with the Pollock painting.
Yeah.
Like, how would he know about that?
Was that not a thing? I don't know anything about Jackson Pollock.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, when he makes that joke, like, there's no way as a kid you remember a Jackson Pollock painting. You know what I mean?
Not necessarily.
They don't even exactly go over that in art class when you're younger either. That's like a.
That's the thing. I was like, they could spend time setting up him looking at a Jackson Pollock painting when he was 9.
But I think there's
like,
one more thing that he says that's Earth thing, and I'm just like, why? I was like, how the hell does he know so much? And I think one of them is definitely like past his time. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
Let's see. Yeah, Fooled Around, Fell in Love. They're out on the balcony, and
yes, he brings up Footloose.
Yeah, Footloose.
And they have a really, really, really tender moment in such a good way.
And then she fucks it all up.
Yeah, but like that song is like perfect. You know, like obviously that's on purpose. I love that song first of all.
You're supposed to keep talking while I saw.
Yes, I know, but no, I want everybody to hear your voice.
That's fine. That's that's my dream anyway.
To be a singer.
Yeah, just to cover that one song and then
it'll
be a one-hit wonder.
That one part.
Yeah, just that one specific part. I've been thinking about that since I was 12.
But no. But yeah, you can clearly tell she like for a second she's really into it, like very into it, and she's like, no.
Yeah.
She's like, I will not be. Basically, she's just like, I'm not gonna be one of your whores, bro.
Yeah.
Like, get over it. That's basically what she says.
And then they actually go into the meeting with the Collector after the little kind of bout between Drax and Rocket, which has a little development for Rocket there. It's kind of sad.
It actually is very sad. He's like, you call me vermin. He's like, I
didn't ask to be fucking made and pulled apart and put back together.
But it still makes me laugh because he's like, Rocket, you're drunk. And he's like, no. But yeah, it's sad. It is sad.
You got to think his tolerance has to be really low.
Yeah,
he's
really
tiny.
low. Yeah, he's tiny. And then we have Drax doing, we go to the Collector and they're having like a small little conversation.
And Drax goes off on his own.
Yeah, and Drax goes off on his own. And actually, again, this is like the first real talk about all the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
We do get a
weird
quick. Yes,
as well.
It's Guardians. But Guardians. But to be fair, in the MCU, Guardians did have a big.
This is such a.
Or not MCU in the comics. The Guardians did have a big.
What I mean though is like it's a risk for them to have this unknown movie and put all of this into this movie that they wouldn't even know. They're not even sure that people are going to see this. It could flop.
At this point,
this is so much shit in this movie.
I can't. I actually don't see it as a risk at this point because at this point, I think they already realized anything we shit out will make money. Like at this point, I do feel like they think that because like. You put the Marvel brand on it, people are going to go watch it at this point. It's his Phase 2.
No, I disagree because we haven't had anything this weird to this point. This is such a departure.
The hype alone,
think about it. We have been from fucking Iron Man, Captain America. Thor's a little, but it's still grounded. And then space. We're just in space now.
No, I get that. But here's the thing,
they didn't even comment on it. It's just like, we're in space. Here's all these aliens. There's nothing. Yeah. It's just,
but that's what makes that movie so good, though, is they don't hold your hand.
But it's just like...
But yes,
it is such a departure from what we have been doing.
It is, but
especially
here's the thing.
From Winter Soldier to this, it's just like, what the hell happened?
No, I get that, but here's the thing, right? Even when Iron Man came out, he wasn't like a big staple name.
Yeah,
in
that's
comics.
what I'm saying. That was a risk. This is a risk.
But that's what I'm saying. At that point, I had the feeling that that's what they were thinking. Like, it's not going to be that big of a risk.
I think this was the last risk that they had, and from this point forward, once they realized that everybody's fucking with this, they can do whatever they want.
I wouldn't say this is the last big risk because Shang-Chi is a big risk.
No,
huge risk.
No, I disagree.
There's like a whole big deal where I think the director or somebody said, "Oh, this is experimental because we're having like an Asian lead," and like that upset the Asian. That definitely upset. I can't remember his name right now, which is pissing me off. But it made him upset. He's like, he shouldn't have said that because it's not a risk. Yeah.
No, it's not a risk at all. I don't think that movie was a risk. They might have thought it was a risk. I don't think it was a risk.
But anyways, so get back on track. They have their little tender moment. They have the fight. They're back at the collector. They're talking about the Infinity Stones. And then they swap over to Drax, and he's clearly making that call. And they switch back to the Infinity Stones, and you see Karina, she
grabs it, and it's horrifying.
She's flat out like, I will not be your slave anymore.
But that is like really horrifying.
It is because, dude,
she's
she literally
melting
burns.
It's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, and it's not even just that. It's the amount of damage she did in a split second.
Yeah, just from grabbing
which I'll get back to in a second. But the amount of damage she did is
and then you think at the end, though, like not knowing yet that Peter has, his half-blood, you're like the first time you see this, like, how the fuck... Like, at first you're thinking, like, wow, plot armor, he can grab it and survive for longer than she did.
But then, it's not even just that.
But then, once you realize, you're like,
it's not even just that either. There's another part that you're like, oh, wow, plot armor. We'll go over it in a second. Because at this point, this is when they're starting to run from Ronan. He shows up.
Yeah, and I just want to write... Rip to that poor fucking guy who's just casually climbing out of his spaceship, thinking it's a regular day, and then they just run up and just toss his ass.
Yeah.
I'm like, what did that guy do?
I also wrote.
He got shit on.
good fucking job to Groot for grabbing Rocket and outrunning that blast.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he like nothing.
The visuals in this movie, by the way, and all James Gunn's visuals, just there's something so
because they're vibrant,
popping.
So the thing with James Gunn is, especially I noticed in this movie, James Gunn is amazing at telling a story with music. Because I swear he picks his soundtracks before he even fucking shoots. I swear he does.
I think he might. Yeah.
But he does his he picks his music and his visuals are top notch. Like, dude, Guardians.
Well, yeah, he does.
When it needs to be happy and it needs to be good, and even in some really dark moments, he makes it vibrant.
Yeah.
Like, bro, when they're in space, like that shit is so real. It's like it's so appealing to the eye. It's so good looking. And then when you have your moments where it's supposed to be darker and more ominous, it's like dark. Like when he does like the hammer, dude, that is dark in this shit. Like it's very muted black and purplish colors. Even the blood is like very dark. Like, and that's another thing. It helps with the storytelling because like looking at something bright when it's supposed to be like a happy moment, you're like, oh yeah, like this is good. Like when they're in the bar, like that's super like bright and like really well done. And then when they start fighting and they're like crowded by people, there's like more shadows and it's like. It's a darker, like, and he does a good job with the lighting and all that.
And I guarantee you that when he writes these movies, I think he picks the songs while writing. Like, he would write like, Gamora and Peter meet up and Fool Around Love starts playing. You know what I mean? I think that's in the scripts. I think he picks that well.
No, for sure he does. I guarantee
based
he
off
does.
of the
Edgar Wright is another person that likes to do very well done music. Baby Driver, dude. Yeah. I love that movie. But Edgar Wright's another director who I absolutely enjoy.
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim. Not enough people watch that shit.
True.
Love that movie.
Let's see. So yeah, then they have their kind of little chase in the ships and stuff. Drax is fighting Ronan and he gets shit on, thrown into that vat of whatever that shit is.
Yeah.
And
almost dies.
Yeah.
They lost, by the way, hard.
Oh yeah.
They lost, and it's awesome that they lost because they weren't together. They were not Guardians of the Galaxy yet. They were Drax and company.
Yeah.
But that's definitely why they lost. Then you have them out running in those little ships or whatever, and
Gamora gets blown to pieces.
Yes.
Sent out into space.
This scene, I love this scene, man. It's like.
And that's another thing. Plot. You're thinking plot armor.
That's what I'm talking about. They're like, if you take off the helmet, you're gonna die.
He can survive long enough.
But did you notice? And again, the lighting and how everything's done. It's very dark at first, and then when Star-Lord's coming to her, you literally see the light on his side moving across the screen closer to her. Yeah. And like it lights it up like it's hopeful. Like, dude, the lighting. Mwah! James Gunn, dude. Yeah. Like, I love that. I just love it. It's so well done.
So he saves her, calls Yondu. They get picked up.
Yep.
And
once again, he goes into the story. They wanted to eat you, boy. Like, they've never tasted Terran before, and it's just like. Yeah, we get it, man. This is like the third time at least.
There's also, you come back to Drax, apologizing, and him and Groot, and then they're like, we gotta go save him. By the way,
when he fucking stabs him in his chest,
Jesus
Christ, dude, like, where was the hole? Where was the wound? Like,
I mean, who knows? I mean, he might have some regenerative.
But he flat out was just like, Groot was just like, hey, I got you.
I got you.
Boom, bro. Like, he just stabs right through him.
But yeah, they're there, and then Drax and Groot are like, we gotta go save him, and then Rocket's like, you're making me tear up, Groot!
Yeah. Again,
Look what you're doing.
Rocket, yeah.
That was a great one. I love
It's
that.
so good.
It's just so weird.
He's like, I know that's the only friend we have. Oh, by the way, just a quick little Easter egg, because I'm sure you know this. Maybe you don't. I don't know. So Groot, right? You know, in the movies, all we hear is, "I am Groot."
Yeah.
You know, that's all we hear. So I actually don't know if people know this or not. So there's actual voice lines in the script. Only Vin Diesel knows this. I'm pretty sure, and maybe the writers.
Oh yeah, what he actually said.
What he actually says. Yeah. There actually is.
There's always like for Star Wars R2D2.
Yeah.
There's always real stuff that they say. They just have to.
But the thing is, with Vin Diesel's the only one that knows the lines. Obviously, maybe he probably showed it to them or whatever.
Well, I assume Bradley Cooper knows too because he has to respond to it.
Yeah, but for the most part, like almost nobody knows what he's saying. Like to them, it's just an I'm Groot, but Vin Diesel knows. And it's funny because you can actually, they got leaked or they got posted online, so you can see what the actual lines are. And like it's funny because some of the lines don't match up with what you think he's saying. Yeah. Because you're obviously they're responding like in Infinity War when they land and he's like, oh, this is my friend Tree. Or whatever, or Groot, and he's like,
I'm Groot, and then he's like, I'm Steve Rogers.
Yeah, but he tells him something like, are you just going to stand around?
Yeah.
Or are you going to fight? That's literally what he says, but in our heads, you're thinking he's like introducing himself.
The one I always vividly remember is when he's the teenager on the ship, and he just says something like, oh my god, language! And whatever he said was, I can't remember what he said. It's like, you fucking asshole or something. It's like,
but it's amazing. Like, everybody ever wants to see what he says, they're up online.
Yeah,
you should
just
definitely see those.
Google it.
Yeah, so they go back. Or he doesn't go back. He gets on Yondu's ship.
Yes.
And again, like they have a really nice tender moment. She's like, "You saved me." He's like, I don't know. He's like, I just saw, and it's so good because he's like
deep down inside myself.
No, because at first he's like, I don't know. I just saw you out there floating, and I had to
find something deep
down heroic, and it's like he ruins it, but it's so
not to
good.
brag or anything, but
but it's so because at first she's just like, oh, she's like falling in love. God. Yeah, and she's clearly like, okay, this guy's a fucking asshole, but I love him. Like,
So they pick him up, and he convinces Yondu not to kill him based off of you can get the score of the Infinity Stone or whatever.
Yes.
And then Rocket shows up with the fucking nuke gun or whatever, and he's like, you have 3 seconds or we will blow this ship to hell.
Yeah,
It's like, that is not a plan. You can't do that. We'll die too. Yeah. Thank God they had figured it out at that point so he could actually be like,
he said something like, that's half a plan or something. Yeah. Actually, I noticed, it's funny, right? Because I love Kraglin as a character.
He's great.
But he's not very prominent.
No, he's not in this one at all.
It's in the second one.
He says like 2 lines.
It's so funny because I remember him being way bigger in this, but he's not like at all. Yeah, he's like way more prominent in the second one in a good way. But,
so they gather Rocket, Groot, and Drax back up, and then they get that scene where they're in the circle talking about, and Peter's trying to rally them.
So this is where I wrote the note, and I fucking stand by this. I'm gonna just go out on a very honest thing to say here. Probably people will dislike it, but I don't give a shit. I like the Guardians far more than I like the Avengers.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy feels like much more of a family than the Avengers do.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we have where they're fighting and they're actually together and they love each other.
I don't know if the Avengers has ever really tried to make the whole like family thing though.
No, but they try to make them like this.
They just make it more of like a team.
Yeah, but they're.
I think they succeed at that. But Guardians is more of
but I like them better. But I do like them better.
I think they're different.
They're very different. But I like Guardians as a team better. It's just
because
it blows my mind, right? Because you have the Avengers and that was all led up to a build by other movies, right?
Yeah.
But then you have this Guardians movie. And I don't feel ripped away in any way of like, obviously they were never going to have a solo movie. They're the Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. But like, I feel like we weren't ripped away from any origins to each of the characters. We still got to know who the characters were, why they're doing what they're doing, and still got them all in a fucking badass movie all together where everybody still gets decent enough screen time where you know what the character's about.
And you get a lot more in the second one.
Yeah, and way more in the second one. And it's just like, it's so funny because like the Guardians in the comics, the Guardians is just as big as a team as the Avengers. Like I'm saying, like they handle
That's what I'm
fucking
saying
way
is-
more shit than the Avengers do. They handle literally otherworldly stuff.
Yeah,
You know
in
what I
the
mean?
MCU though, it is just like the Avengers is this massive, ever-growing team. The Guardians is this small, tight-knit family. So they're very different.
So I know they're very
concepts.
different, but I'm saying like the OG Avengers team, like
Yeah,
team,
but
it's like
then at the same time, the OG Avengers team barely even like each other until the very end of the movie. So it's a very different thing.
Yeah,
well,
but I don't know.
It is the same thing because they kind of all hate each other until the end too.
Yeah,
until they finally rally.
But still, the Guardians, I don't know, something about it's just they're way more
they
satisfying to
have
me. I could watch a whole just Guardians thing. Like honestly, I
Yeah.
could. Like I just love it. I do.
Yeah, I
love this
can't wait
team.
for 3.
Yes, same.
But yeah, he said, Peter says something. He's like, we're going to go in there and do this. And then Rocket starts laughing. He's like, that is a fake laugh. And he's like, realest laugh I've ever laughed. He's like, no, it's not fake. And, he gets them all to stand up and chip in. And Rocket stands up and he's like, you happy now? A bunch of jackasses standing in a circle.
Yeah, dude, I love that line. That's
And
like,
then
it's good.
Straight to them walking. You got that kind of suit up team scene with Cherry Bomb playing.
Yeah. So they have a suit up / plan montage.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's very satisfying. Then you have, I think, is that the one where Rocket's like fixing a scratch? Isn't that Walker? Is that in the second one? I can't remember.
What?
Or he's fixing he's pulling on like a scratch while he's walking. I think that's the second one though.
I don't know. I
can't remember. But yeah, you have them walking towards the screen in that typical slow motion, and it's but it's just so good.
Yeah, that's a very So yeah, then we cut to we're heading towards. They're kind of heading down towards the planet.
Did you notice? When we go to Yondu's ship? The scene where he's like blah blah blah. When he's like he literally talked about these frogs. Do you remember?
No.
You don't remember? Okay, so there's a scene where he's like, "Oh, these frogs are like really nice." He's like, "I'm interested in these."
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "I can't tell if you're joking or not." He's like,
he's
not joking. On the ship,
cool.
he literally has all 5 of the frogs on his ship, so he either stole them or bought them. But yeah. But yeah.
So yeah, he sends out a message to the Nova Corps, and then we cut to them kind of receiving it and starting to get ready.
Yeah.
And he's like, he said, I quote, I'm not 100% a dick or whatever.
Yeah.
I always forget that John C. Reilly's in this movie.
He's awesome in this movie.
Yeah, he's cool. So then they start heading down, and then we kind of get into that dogfight where the asteroid kind of drops down, and it's in the atmosphere, and they all come in at once and team up.
Yeah, but can we talk about for a moment, again, in terms of scale for this movie, it's huge. Like, we're talking like New York getting attacked.
Yeah,
huge.
Except
like,
it's just another planet.
Except it's just, but this movie's considered just like another movie in the MCU phase. Is not a build up team up like Avengers.
Well, I think it's just because as humans we can't like care enough because it's not a city on Earth.
Yeah, but if you think about it, dude, it's
huge. Yeah. It's a whole planet.
Yeah, it's a whole planet.
He's trying to wipe out everybody basically.
So yeah, the scale is like it's just as like threat. It's just as big a threat as what happened on Earth. Like I would even say even bigger.
Yeah, and so they get into that dogfight, and I think it's honestly pretty fucking, like, just the visuals of the dogfight is fucking amazing. But so they all come in, the Guardians and the Ravagers, and they start fighting.
Yep.
And then the Nova Corps shows up.
Yep, and that's when it's like it turns around to their favor for a little bit.
And then you get,
yes,
he got my dick message.
Yeah.
I've always loved that's like, every time I think of the first Guardians movie, that might be like the first thing that pops in my head.
Yeah.
It's the dick message line for some reason. I don't know why. So yeah, dogfight. They're fighting. They're shooting things. It's good. It's good stuff. It looks very visually appealing. And then they start to link the Nova ships, which is a very cool concept to kind of stop it from getting any closer to the ground. And then
they're all on the ship.
Peter, Gamora.
Drax.
Not Rocket. It's Rocket's the only one that's not there.
He's not the only one that's there, and they're walking onto the ship.
Yeah.
And you have Drax. This is the best moment in the movie where he's like, "You guys are all my friends." He's like, "This green whore too is my friend." She's like, "Enough!"
And this green whore. It's like, what? Why?
Yeah, you're like,
whoa! It's so left field.
Yeah, but it's so funny.
I was not ready for it at all.
Yeah, but it's so good though.
To pull out calling her a whore for no reason. Like, what the fuck?
But then Nebula shows up and she's like talking, interrupting, whatever, and he shoots her. Right? He shoots her. He hits her or something. He's like, "Nobody talks to my friends that way," or some shit like that. He defends like Gamora. Then you have that still makes me laugh though. I'm literally thinking back to the scene. He's like, "This green whore too is my friend." And the way he delivers the line is just so good.
Because you don't expect it. Well, he's like, "Peter, you're a great person and a good friend."
Yeah.
And this green whore.
Yeah, he's just like, okay,
what did she do?
And then So you have the part where I can never remember his name, damn it. But the guy that you
Korath.
said, yeah,
I wrote it down when they said it again because I always forget too. I don't remember his name.
But he's like Star-Lord. He's like, finally.
He's like, yes,
dude. It's like a kid on Christmas. He's like, finally, somebody recognizes me. It's so good. Yeah.
Let's see. So they get to Ronan after.
Fuck. What is it that Drax said that I can't remember now because I wrote it and I honestly was like, I gotta go back and fix it because I only wrote metaphor. Where he's like, that's a metaphor, and then Star was like, kind of.
Yeah, I can't remember
what it is, but yeah. I think doesn't he shoot him and then he does the neck thing?
I think he might actually cut somebody's throat.
Yeah. I think he does actually. Yeah, he does. He grabs him because he's like, "That's a metaphor."
Yeah, that's a metaphor. He's like, not really. Yeah. So yeah, then they get there. She beats off Nebula and sends her flying up into the other ship or whatever, and then flicks the power so they can get into Ronan. They all run in. And no hesitation. I love that there's no exposition, no talking, no back and forth. They run in immediately. Star-Lord pulls it out, shoots him. There's no hesitation. Yep, and that shot is dope as well.
Yes.
And it hits him, and they're like, well, shit. Yeah. We are fucked. And then Rocket comes crashing in.
I don't like that part.
Why?
I understand that these characters are supposed to be very strong, right? But he fucking plowed Drax. Drax was literally in the vicinity of that ship hitting him, bro.
Well, I mean, Ronan survived it too.
But it's Ronan with an Infinity Stone. That's different. But he said, I don't give a fuck about Drax.
Yeah.
Well, he fucking just barreled through him.
He does kind of not like Drax. So.
Yeah, but he didn't give a shit. He just hit him. And I was like, Drax kind of just got up. Like, that wasn't a big deal, bro. He said that's nothing.
I guess he's just a beast.
Yeah, but, and then,
the ship goes down.
Yep.
By the way, we kind of skipped over how horrible it is when the Nova Corps starts dying.
Oh yeah, because I wrote Sal died.
Yeah,
he was really counting on them.
Him and Rocket.
Yeah, and they were like, he's like, and then I think what is it like? The ship starts to crash and it pushes the barrier and it blows everybody up that's in the barrier.
Get crushed.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Which is fucked.
So anyway, then the whole ship starts going down because of that, and they land, it crashes, and fucks up the whole city, by the way. I don't know, they never say if the city got evacuated or what.
They did. No, they said, there's a line, I remember her saying, like a major part of the city's been evacuated, or something. She said, she does say it.
The exact length and width of the Dark Aster has been evacuated from the city. So that
no, definitely not that specific, but she said they've done something.
No, but I mean, that's exactly, that's what they're saying. This part of the city got evacuated, which basically means exactly the part of the city that this giant ship hit, so that nobody gets hurt.
MCU explanation.
So and then they wake up in the rubble and he's ready to fucking
Well, you have Groot who turns into a ball.
Oh, that's right.
How'd you forget about that? You have Groot. Yeah.
And he says we are
Groot.
Yeah.
But at the time, right? You didn't realize him burning up like that, he was gonna survive it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh shit, they're really gonna kill off Groot, which is a big deal because you're just that's part of the Guardians. Damn.
So they wake up in the rubble of this shit, and they're all kind of fucked up.
Rocket doesn't even have a real pure moment of where he can mourn because then
not yet.
Yeah. Because then what's his name? Ronan gets up.
Yeah, immediately comes back out with the Infinity Stone and starts spouting his speech to
bullshit.
The people.
Yes. And then all of a sudden, Star-Lord starts dancing. Child, things are gonna get easier. Right? And then he looks over and he's like...
And it's just in the background as well. It's just on Ronan's face. He's like... What? And he's starts to turn towards him.
Yeah, he's like, what are you doing? And then, I shit you not, I quote this all the time when I'm literally playing a game with my friend or something. I will literally quote, it's a distraction, you big turd blossom. Dude, it's so good. I love that line.
Well, he says that at the end, bro. Yeah. First, he's doing the dance, and he's like, dance off. You and me, bro. And he's going to shuffle and shit. And then he, passes over and more. He's like, subtle, take it back. Yeah, that's my favorite line.
Yeah.
Subtle. Take it back. And then he just immediately keeps going.
Yeah. And then, he hits him with that line. It's a distraction.
It's a distraction. And they shoot the thing. Yep. And that fucking shot of it hitting the hammer, what the fuck is that shot? It's so cool.
Yes.
Everything completely slows down. And it just... just shatters.
Yes.
And then Star-Lord diving in and
this is when we got another tease that he's not obviously fully human because he grabs it. Mm-hmm. And obviously he's surviving. He's not burning right away. Yep. And then the energy gets expended.
Pretty fucked up. He wouldn't have lasted much longer.
Yeah.
But it's enough that
and
he
then
can take it.
Gamora grabs it, and so that now that energy is being transmitted. Little by little, yep. And then
which is also interesting. You get this final huge Guardians of the Galaxy team moment, but Groot isn't a part of it because he's dead.
Yeah, because he's dead. Yeah.
Interesting.
But anyways.
They all get it together.
And then Quill has one of the best, technically, Chris Pratt delivers this line so well.
You said it
bro.
yourself, bitch.
We're the
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes,
I
dude.
would have almost, every time I hear it though, I almost wanted to say we're the Guardians of the fucking Galaxy.
Right? It's like,
but they
he
could
wants
have
to
done it too, because they
could've.
didn't say fuck in the movie,
Yeah,
I think,
yeah,
so
yeah.
they could have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
But it
But it's
also
true. He
would
could have
have
been like, you said it yourself, bitch. We're the Guardians of the fucking Galaxy.
like,
It
we're
would
the
have
Guardians
sounded
of the
really
fucking
good.
Galaxy. Like, it would have hit a little bit harder,
But it still hits good.
amazing.
And
You said it
it's
yourself,
such a
bitch.
And it's like he sounds so like distorted in a good way. Like,
yeah, and then just the way he's like, we said it yourself,
yeah,
bitch.
yeah. I wish I could have gotten a shot of that up close.
Anyway,
but
yeah, they kill him. They vaporize his ass.
Yeah.
You know, bottle up the stone.
Yeah.
And then he does the switch and gives the fake one to Yondu.
Dude, I watched the scene repeatedly. I did. I watched it back like 4 times. I was like,
He puts
can
it
you
behind his
see
back.
him? That's all you see though. I wish it would have had like subtle movements where you could see that he's doing it. And
Well,
he's
you
actually
assume he
switching
has
it.
two. He has
Yeah,
two
yeah,
on his
of
back
course.
because he prepared one and then he just grabs the other one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah,
he doesn't
I
have
know.
to do some like switch.
No, I get it.
It's enough for me. Like, it's not that unbelievable that he could.
No, it's not unbelievable at all.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
I'm
Like,
just saying it would have been awesome if you saw him
like it
actually
could have
pull
been
the
worse.
switch.
Like
Yeah.
there's movies where they'll just like be
They-
like,
yeah.
how the fuck did you do that?
Yeah,
But like,
no,
it
this
makes
is believable
sense.
because he does put his hand behind his back. You're right.
Yeah, and then Ain't No Mountain High Enough plays like
Yes.
fully as they kind of, or is it?
No, it's not yet. It's
that's
not yet. It's not
No,
yet,
first
no.
they go back with the Nova Corps
Yep,
and they're like,
and
we've
they talk
expunged your
about-
records
Yep.
and you're a little something special going on in your DNA.
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
going on
yeah.
here?
Yeah, he's like,
and
"You're
also when
half-Terran."
Yondu's flying away, Kraglin is like, man, I'm glad we never took that guy back to his dad. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that guy was a fucking douche or whatever he said.
yeah.
So yeah, then they get their
They're
shit
walking
back.
away.
Yeah,
No,
walk away from the Nova
you
Corps.
have but you have like one of the best lines because he's like, what if somebody has something and
I
I
want it
want
more
it?
than them?
Yeah, he's like, no, that's stealing. That's still a crime. He's
still
like,
stealing.
but no, you don't understand, sir.
I want it more.
Yeah, he's
I
like,
want it more.
yeah, it's
Like,
so
"Ah,
good.
well, okay."
And then Jax is like, what if somebody? He basically is just like,
What if
what
I
if
wanna
somebody
kill
makes me mad? I
someone?
want to kill him. He's like, that's murder, the worst crime.
Still murder.
Yeah, no,
Jax
he's like,
just like,
okay. Yeah, he's like, all right.
okay. Just walks off.
So then he's like, don't worry, I'll watch them.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but who's gonna watch you? Like, but he says it jokingly, obviously.
I still believe it though. Like Peter,
yeah.
Peter has enough good in him to like
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
them from doing
Yeah,
some
of course,
crazy like murderous shit.
It's good. In all honesty, like the Guardians are like, again, they're just space pirates, but in such an awesome way.
Yeah.
They really are. Like they'll whatever they feel is a necessity for them to do, and still do some good along the way. They'll do.
Yeah.
Like, but at the end of the day, like they still want to do stuff that's going to benefit them too.
Yeah. And then Ain't No Mountain is playing as
Yes.
they take off. And then they have a little scene where they're kind of discussing shit. And he's like, so what should we do? A little bit of good, a little bit of bad, a little bit of both?
Yeah.
He's like, a little bit of both. And then we zoom straight into I Want You Back, which is a perfect ending song as well.
Yes, it's
Love
so
that
good.
song. That song's
Yeah.
amazing. Ow! Or whatever.
Yeah.
like just as he says it, it's like perfect the way it transitions
And then
in.
you have Yondu. And
Opening the
and
thing.
he
It's like
gives like a
little
smirk, like I'm
troll.
so proud of this
Yeah.
motherfucker. Like it's
Yeah.
so good. Then you have Groot
Dancing.
dancing. I love that scene.
With Drax.
Love that scene. You have him
For some
dancing.
reason, in my head, I always remember in my head, I have it in my head that he's like dancing more. Like
Me
he
too.
dances, and then he stops,
And then he
and then
dances
Drax
again,
looks back and he
yeah.
stops again. But
Yeah.
it's only one
It's
time.
only one time. Yeah.
I don't know
In
why
my head,
had
I
that
swear, in my head it was the same thing. He does it a couple
Weird.
times, but yeah, I guess
Weird.
not.
And then we get Howard the Duck in the post credits.
Yep.
Yep, which just
Yeah, you
gotta
see the
love it.
collector. He's saying pissed off because his collection's obviously destroyed,
Yep.
and then you have, like you said, Howard. And what is it that he says?
I can't remember something about a drink. I think. Right.
Yeah, I can't remember. And then Cosmo or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Licks,
Cosmo
yeah.
Space Dog.
Yeah.
Love both of them.
Yes.
For no reason. I don't know why. I remember when I saw that the first time in theaters, I got more hyped than like seeing Thanos. I was like, Howard the Duck, which
Yeah.
to be fair, seeing Howard the Duck
It's
is
a bigger
actually
deal.
crazier
Yeah,
than
it
seeing
is.
Thanos.
It's a bigger deal,
It's
yeah.
like wow, like you would not expect that in the
Yeah.
movies. So to be fair, it is like a
is a bigger
weirder
deal.
thing to see.
Even Cosmo the dog's a big deal too, though.
Yeah.
So
Love him.
But yeah, I mean that's awesome. I mean overall, I rated this
When
movie.
did he show back up? Oh, in the What If
in the-
episode.
yeah. But anyways, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean I
it's a
rated
great
this
movie.
an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it is an 8 out of 10. I actually liked it less this time watching it than I had remembered in my head. I didn't.
It's not that I disliked it. It's not that I. It's definitely me watching it before. I definitely remember it being way better than what it was, but it's still not a bad movie at all.
No,
I
it's
definitely
still a
remember being-
great movie,
Yeah.
but I just for some reason I was watching, I was like, I am not enjoying this as much as I remembered I enjoyed
No, I still
it.
enjoyed the fuck out of it, dude.
In
I just
my
like the
mind,
Guardians,
in my
though.
mind, it was a 10.
Oh,
and now
really?
going back on it, I'm like, no, this is not as good as I
No,
remember
it
being.
still has faults. Like especially now with how far the MCU's come,
I think
it has
there's just
faults.
some different kind of like I don't know, just something about it just didn't hit as well for me this time. I was like, this is not as good as I remember, and I think Guardians 2 is going to be
better.
Yeah, better.
It is better. Even as I'm sitting here
and
thinking
then
about
I haven't, I mean, it could be misremembering because I thought this one was amazing, but we'll have to go and see.
It's funny because rewatching Guardians 1, right, I was like, where is this scene at? And I'm like, oh, that's not in this movie. That's in Guardians 2. So I
Where's
know
my
I'm
favorite scene? Oh, they're all in Guardians 2.
It is in Guardians 2. Some of my more favorite scenes, actually. So Guardians 2 it's funny because I think when you and I first talked about this a long time ago,
you said
I told you Guardians 1 was
and
better.
I was like, no, Guardians 2 is better.
Guardians
like,
2 is, yeah, it is, for sure.
So...
Even just the intro, dude. Oh, I can't wait to get into Guardians 2. I really can't.
Oh, I remember the intro.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, though, the intro in Guardians 1 is better.
No. This one is so good.
I still prefer it. I know Baby Groot dancing and all.
It's not even the
great,
dancing. It's just like the fighting that goes on and the like little interactions.
I still prefer the first one. I prefer the first one. I don't know why.
And we'll talk about it more. We'll talk about it more. Why I like it more. Because there's actually a reason that I really do like it more.
So, next up is Age of Ultron. Is that right?
Yes.
And then Ant-Man.
And then
we're done with Phase 2. Weird.
So I'm not gonna lie.
It's flown by.
Yeah,
Phase 2,
I know it
just
does.
because there's so many strong movies right in a row.
But here's the thing. I think we're gonna try to squeeze Age of Ultron and Ant-Man into one episode because I don't think I'm gonna have as much to say about Ant-Man.
We've said that.
I know,
we haven't said it in the episodes, but we've said it off camera every time we get to an episode. When we started this episode, I was like, I don't have as many notes on this as I thought.
Yeah.
And now here we are.
An hour and 10 minutes later.
It's gonna be probably about an hour.
I don't think you have to cut that much from this either.
It's gonna be like an hour, probably maybe an hour 5. So we're not. I don't think we're gonna be able to split them into 2. We'll try.
Yeah,
we'll try and record both of them on the same day and see how it goes. But
I'm actually shooting to not take as good a notes as Ant-Man because Ant-Man is, in my opinion, like a black sheep.
We're
like
gonna get there. We're gonna be like,
I do.
Don't get
me wrong. The movie's great, but looking at it, right, you can literally have that as a standalone film, and you would never know it's part of the MCU until the after credit scene.
I don't even remember what the fuck the after credit scene is. Don't tell me because
you're gonna watch it. No,
I don't remember at all. Like,
yeah.
Oh wait, do I? No, I don't. Yeah. So next up, Age of Ultron. That's what we're getting to next. So. All
right. So
thank you for tuning in
to
this one.
Yep.
Watching this one.
This one that is sloppy, sir.
Fuck you.
That is a sloppy ending.
Fuck you. Goodbye.